Good morning and welcome to the NBA Daily for November 18th, 2024. Coming up, the Cavs are still undefeated. We had a couple of game winners over the weekend. We take a little look at some stuff and ask if it's something, nothing, or everything. And we look ahead at the big NBA Cup matchups for this week. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Zena. Good morning, S. Good morning, 15-0 Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yes,
they said
sir.
it couldn't be done, guys. They
Yep.
said, no, they didn't. No one ever said that. 15-0. This is the best story in basketball. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they beat the frisky Charlotte Hornets, who
you guys
had a big win over the Bucks over the weekend to move to 15-0. Hey, it was not an easy game for the Cavs. They didn't have Donovan Mitchell. You know, they had to scrap and fight there down at the end, but they did pull it off. Guys, every single team that has started 15-0 has made the NBA Finals. What do you think about that, S?
Yeah, you guys remember the 1949 Washington Capitals?
I love that. I had season tickets, actually. You guys probably believe that, right?
Unfortunately, lost to the Los Angeles or Minneapolis Lakers at that point. 1994 Houston Rockets, they made it to the finals, beat the Knicks that year. And then the 2016 Warriors, they actually went 24-0.
Yeah.
So
Right.
they're the only team that has exceeded 15-0. Maybe that means Cavs Celtics on Tuesday night, a chance at history because they'll be the only other team, right?
Yeah, and the teams that you mentioned, look, that 94, I don't actually know anything about that 49 Washington Capitals team, but that 94 Rockets team, right, is Hakeem Olajuwon. You had a great interior presence. You had a lot of good guard play.
Kenny
that
Smith,
Warriors team, right, had a great defense. You had Steph Curry. You know, obviously that team is in our recent memory. And Zeno, look, there are a lot of things that kind of make you think about that Warriors team from 2015, right?
Absolutely.
You've got a couple of guards who are, Darius Garland and Steph Curry, the comp there is pretty clear, I think. But also the coaching staff. Kenny Atkinson moves over from the Warriors. And look, we know that he was with Budenholzer down in Atlanta and he did his own thing up in Brooklyn. But it feels like he's picked up some tricks. Like he's pushing all the right buttons with this team. And like every single night, it seems like they have a different role player step up when they need it.
Absolutely. I think it's really cool to see the coaching tree out of like Greg Popovich kind of slowly be transferred over to Steve Kerr. You've seen Willie Green go out to the New Orleans Pelicans, have some success. Mike Brown in his first year, gone from the Warriors, gets coach of the year. And now Kenny Atkinson with this historic start. It's a good thing that Kerr can say that all these guys coached under him and around him because it's showing. The Warriors have an ability to coach the game. The way they change the three-point line, the way they change their defensive strategies. You're seeing all of these elements even show up in the Cavaliers.
Yeah. Jerry Stackhouse is next, by the way. Just putting it out there.
Well, Jerry Stackhouse is overdue.
Yeah.
Look, when you look at the way the Cavs are doing it, they are making so many shots. We talked about this the other day with Carter Rodriguez from the Chase Down pod. You worry about the sustainability of the shooting, but they should have more shooting coming. Like when Max Strus is out there healthy, and maybe they're going to be a team that's able to hit the market as, you know, like maybe not the buyout market, maybe the trade market. Like they've got some assets. They might be able to go get a guy. I'm especially looking at like Larry Nance Jr. down in Atlanta. Can we get him home? Just a stretch big, some guy that can maybe close sometimes, you know, can start for you when you need spot start, something like that.
It's interesting you brought up a stretch big because my first thought was just shoring up the wings a little bit more. Like I think of Brooklyn as a very easy trade candidate with a guy like Cam Johnson or Dorian Finney-Smith, just like adding another well-rounded wing who can shoot the ball, play defense. Feels like it'll really complete that Cavs starting lineup. And I agree, Strus is a really important of these. Like he's massive to this equation too, and he hasn't even played. So
they've done nothing. He's done nothing for him. You know, De'Aaron Fox, guys, had a huge weekend. This is sort of the headline portion of the show on Monday. De'Aaron Fox, back-to-back games, puts up 60 points in a loss, 49 points in a win. Zena, which one of those is better?
49. You got to get the dub.
Got to get the win.
I listened to De'Aaron. No, I listened to De'Aaron Fox. I listened to his post-game presser, and he said, you can't look over the fact that he got 60 points. But he said he would have rather had gotten the rebound and not made that last bucket for the 60 points and ended up getting the win. I'm with him. And He had
He's
more
supposed
assists
to
in
say
that
that.
49-point game.
He's supposed to say that.
Maybe,
Look,
maybe.
60 is the Kings record, right? No Big O, no Oscar Robertson, no more DeMarcus Cousins. It's De'Aaron Fox in the history books. I'm just saying that's
Listen,
cool
S,
in its own right.
When play-in time comes and the Kings needed one more win to be positioned, you're going to remember this.
Fair.
Just saying.
That's a good point.
We're going to
That's a
circle
good
back
point.
to that one too. We also had a couple of crazy game winners over the weekend. I'm going to ask you guys a question. You got to pick one of these. Which was the least egregious violation? Okay. Was it Jason Tatum's, I don't know, 4 stutter steps into his 3-pointer to beat the Raptors? Or was it Julius Randle's, Bo Jackson forearm shiver
Oh
to
my
Josh
God.
Okogie to set up his 3-point make for the Timberwolves?
The
Which
drama.
one was least egregious to
I'm
you
putting
guys?
a stop to this. My choice is that Julius Randle was least egregious. It wasn't that egregious, actually.
Josh Okogie was insane
Flopped.
for flopping.
Yeah.
It was a flop.
What are you doing there, man? Time and score. You're not getting that call.
Even if it was some contact, it was marginal at best,
Right.
and he flew out. Like it just no. I'm sorry. The Tatum stutter rip plus 4 dribbles. Nope. That's the worst one. I'm sorry. By the way,
I got to beat her. I got to beat her.
Okay.
Most egregious, and I think, S, you feel the same way. The NBA letting us know about the travel the next day.
Please. Can we just stop with the last 2-minute reports? Can we just not do
Doc
it? Because
Rivers gets fined
Yeah.
for complaining about a call that the NBA said directly after the game that they missed.
that
And
the
I'm just-
broadcast team said they were like, yeah, LaMelo Ball tripped off his foot,
Yeah.
I think it's useless, and it just creates more like anger towards officiating that they release those stats and that information to say it was a correct or incorrect call. Have those meetings in closed door settings. Like, don't make it public information. You don't
I will
need
say
that.
this. I will say this. And speaking to someone that is in the referee world of the NBA, I asked him why they do these, and this was kind of off the record. So
Sources say. Yes.
Sources say. There we go. Thank you. He said that the reason these 2-minute reports have to happen because they need accountability. And this is how they choose referees for playoff games, for the finals.
Yeah.
And how many times your name shows up in those 2-minute reports, how many times you're making those mistakes.
Yeah.
It's important to have them. So at the end of the day, there is some reason for it, but the fans, I'm sure, rip our hearts out. You're not going to take the win back.
I'm in favor of just pretending like, look, we never made any mistakes. Let the fans argue amongst themselves. Controversy creates cash. Also, in the late games, Sunday night, the last game, James Harden moved to second on the all-time 3-pointers list. Now, as I know that typically we associate him more with free throws than 3-pointers.
Nice.
No, this is not fair. We know that he had those years in Houston playing with Mike D'Antoni, the Morey ball stuff, but it does feel insane that James Harden is second on this list.
Yeah, and he's not going to catch first, guys. I'm just letting you know. It's not going to happen.
It's possible.
I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. Steph Curry is going to run away with it. He's likely going to get to 4,500 threes by the time his career is done, maybe even 5,000. But I have a question for you guys. Okay, so Steph likely going to get to 4,500. Harden will get to 3,000 by the end of his career. Damian Lillard will probably do the same. Another great 3-point shooter. Which young active player might be able to get into that conversation when their career is done? Donovan Mitchell has 1,500. He's kind of the closest of the bunch. Jason Tatum has 1,350. Devin Booker has 1,200. Luka has 1,200. Ant has almost 900. Which one of those guys do you think could get into that conversation?
I noticed you didn't say Victor Wembanyama, who's trying to hit all 5,000 3-pointers this year, right?
Fine.
It feels to me
Mention Wemby. Yeah.
Look, I've been saying this for a few years. Anthony Edwards, with the 3-point volume he already had, was going to be a guy who was tracking top 10. And you see he's got 850 already, which feels absurd. But with the increase in 3-point volume for a lot of these guys, I mean, this top 10 list might be full of guys, Zena, that are all playing right now.
I agree. I actually am going to put LaMelo Ball up there.
Ooh,
I mean, in
there you go.
2022, he had 223s made. Okay. And that's 565 attempted. So he's capable of putting those numbers up there. He's one of those people that kind of stands out for me. But agreed, with the way that the game is expanding beyond the 3-point line, shout out Steph Curry, I can't imagine that maybe not catching James Harden or Ray Allen, but definitely way more young players within that top 10 in general.
Yeah. It is crazy you mentioned Ray Allen because like he for such a long time was regarded as the greatest shooter of all time.
Yeah.
And it's just going to end up being a footnote in the conversation.
He's going to be like the 15th guy on the list in a few years. Guys, stick with us after the break. We're going to play a little game of something, nothing, or everything with some early season trends. All right, guys, it's time for the game that's sweeping the nation. Something, nothing, or everything. Something that we just made up before the show to take a look at some early season trends that, you know, things that are happening right now. Okay. It's a way to catch up on the news, you know, just put a little twist on it. The Lakers, the Rockets, and the Magic are now all on 5-game winning streaks. And I'm going to give you guys a chance to answer on a team, but I'm going to jump on this one first because I'm the host and nobody can tell me no. Guys, the Lakers 5-game winning streak, is it something, nothing, or everything? I have to tell you, it is nothing. They are beating nobody. They beat the Philadelphia 76ers, who we've been talking about, have been struggling all season long with injuries and everything else. Jared McCain, the lone bright spot. They beat the Toronto Raptors, who not very good, not necessarily trying to win. They beat the Memphis Grizzlies, who have been banged up pretty bad. They beat the Spurs, who just aren't very good. And they beat the Pelicans, who, again, another team that's banged up. And it has taken some overwhelming efforts from LeBron James. I mean, he had 4 triple-doubles in there.
Crazy.
And this guy, I don't know how long this guy can keep doing this. Anthony Davis is averaging 30 points a game, which we'll talk about shortly. But, you know, they're getting insane production. But these wins are not that impressive. But that being said, they're not totally nothing. But they're not something.
Play Dalton Connect, man.
He needs to start.
Connect 4.
Play him more.
We've been saying that for a while on Dalton Connect.
Yeah.
That, I'm happy he's moved more into the rotation over Max Christie, but there needs to be a little bit more coming out of him.
Yeah. Rockets, Magic, you guys grab one of those. Let me know. Something, nothing, or everything on this 5-game winning streak.
I'm going to follow you, Dave, because I'm looking at the wins that the Lakers had. They sound very similar to what Orlando had. Orlando has recently beaten Philadelphia, similar, dealing with injuries. Indiana, dealing with big man injuries, but overall not playing a great ton of defense, which we know they don't do. Charlotte, not a very good team. Washington Wizards, not a very good team. And Pelicans, strangely, not a very good team. But I'm not going to say this is nothing. I'm going to say this is everything. The Orlando Magic are playing without Paolo Banchero. We said on this podcast that it's going to need to be a Jalen Suggs, a Franz Wagner to step up. Guess who they're also not playing with? A Jalen Suggs. It's been Franz Wagner stepping all the way up, being the prodigy that we know he can be down in South Florida. Now, why is it everything to me? I'm looking at the stats for team comparisons in the last 5 games. The Magic aren't like top 15 on anything. They're not top defense. They're not top offense. They're not making shots more than anyone else, but they're managing to win games.
They're
folks.
Surviving.
They are surviving.
They're surviving and they're thriving. And this is why it's everything for the Orlando Magic.
Go ahead and tell me why the Rockets win streak is everything. I know that's what you're going to say.
It's not everything, but it is something. It is something.
Okay.
I do like the Rockets.
It is.
And look, the Tyrese and Amen Thompson combo is one of my favorites in the league. If you have a chance on League Pass, scrolling by, make sure to watch that. That being said, the Rockets are 3rd in defense. Okay. They not only have won 5 of their last 5 games, but they've won 7 of their last 8, which expanding that win streak out, they've been playing some really, really good basketball. On top of the defense, they're also hovering at around a top 10 offense. You look at Fred VanVleet, who's playing better as of late, Alperen Şengün, who's playing better as of late. This team is now 3rd in the Western Conference, building themselves a little bit of a lead. I enjoy it. I think the Rockets are good. We'll see what happens.
I mean, they're 10-4 right now, and we're not talking about them enough yet. We're going to get Kelly Iko on the show tomorrow. They're going to play the Bucks, so we got Kelly coming in to talk about the Rockets. You know that they're good when they're in Giannis trade rumors. That's how you know that a team has some good young players. Okay, guys, next question. The Blazers. They're now 3-0 without Anthony Simons and DeAndre Ayton. is this something?
I'm jumping
is this
in,
nothing?
man. I'm
or
jumping
is this
in.
everything?
This is everything for me.
It has to be, right?
It has to be. And the reason for that is I just think the Blazers, they have some pretty interesting guys that could get traded this year. You think of Jeremy Grant, you think of DeAndre Ayton, potentially even Rob Williams. Like, they have some pieces that they can move to just lean into the young guys. And Shaedon Sharpe has been absolutely awesome in these 3 games. He had 32 tonight against the Hawks. He had 33 against Minnesota. They obviously beat Minnesota twice. Donovan Clingan, their rookie, has been sensational with more playing time. Please play the man more often. Already looking like a very, very good rim protector in this league. So I think it's everything. I think the Blazers have taken note of Chauncey Billups saying that if you sleep after this loss, they had a really embarrassing loss. I believe it was against the Grizzlies. If you sleep, you are a loser. And they've answered back with 3 wins. They've answered back with 3 wins.
These guys are just staying up all night. Zena, you feel the same way? Is this everything?
I don't know if it's everything, but it's definitely something.
It's something.
It's definitely something, especially in the West.
Everything.
Hey, Scoot has been good.
Scoot's been playing better. Yeah.
This is true. Totally. When you think about what Scoot was kind of propped up to be, especially going as the foil to Victor Wembanyama, and then his lackluster performance coming into the league, it's been better seeing him being a better decision maker, being more patient, more poised. You can see him not making a huge leap, but just a little one.
I think this is something. And again, it's a team that we don't expect much out of. So, to go 3-0, period. I mean, when was the last time that the Pistons did that, S? I mean, it's
a very long time. Yeah,
that's right. All right. Last one for this one, guys. Right now, there are only 2 30-plus point a game scorers in the NBA. It's Giannis and it's AD, Anthony Davis. Those are the only 2 guys averaging over 30 points a game. That would be the fewest since the 2021-22 season, right? Okay. Now, last year, it felt like we just had all of these guys. Remember all these individual scoring performances? So many that Zena said, hey, somebody's going to score over 81 this season. Well, we just got De'Aaron Fox with 60. Last week, it seems like we kind of broke the seal off the 50-point games. We had Victor drop 50. We had Giannis drop 59. Is this something? Is this nothing? Or is this everything, guys?
I'm going to say that it's something, but in the way to say parity. In the sense that there's more ball sharing, there's more assist giving, there's just more talent spread across the league versus in previous years. So I think it's something, but in a good way. I think you looked at some of the numbers, though. You looked a little closer.
Yeah, you know me, man. I'm getting into the number. Okay, look. So Jason Tatum, 29.7 points per game. Nikola Jokic, 29.7. LaMelo Ball, 29.7. Yeah. Paolo, 29. He hasn't even played in a while.
Are you saying we're cherry picking stats here?
I am just saying the threshold of 30 is it's a little,
30 is a magical number in basketball, right? Like that is a number, the 30-point game. True. That's when you know you did something. Right. Plenty of guys average 20 that are good players. 30 is usually where we say, oh, that guy's a great, like you're going to lead the league in scoring. I think it's something, but I'm with Zena. I think that this is a parity thing. I think coaches are getting smarter about, guys they're not able to stat pad their points late in games when they have blowouts. I mean, Steph Curry's sitting out fourth quarters, I mean, it's just, if you extrapolate it a little bit, you figure out pretty quickly that these guys, there's a lot of guys who are capable of doing 30 points a game that are held back a little bit by circumstances.
Maybe just one more thing here. There's 43 guys who are averaging 20 or more. Last year it was 55. So like if we're going to maybe that is something.
Maybe it is something.
Yeah. And there's also something to be said of this is now the second year of the adjustments since COVID. Right. Yeah. And guys going on longer road trips and staying at home as well. It's like, all right, I think there's just a little bit more to go around when you're feeling rested. You've got a few more healthy bodies around. I don't know. I think it's just a nice distribution.
Stick around after the break. We're going to look ahead at this week's biggest NBA Cup matchups. The NBA Cup continues this week. Second week of group play, guys. What did you think about the first week and the courts? Did they throw you off?
The courts were better this year. They were much better.
I get the thing there where you're flipping channels or you walk into the sports bar and it's like, that looks different.
Yeah,
it did catch my eye. And I think the paint is actually better this year. Some of the courts look pretty good. Portland especially. That court looks great.
But the yellow, I don't know if you saw I think it was the Hawks, maybe.
The Hawks.
That was too
awful.
much.
Can't do that.
Too much.
And again, no red, no blues. Next year, hopefully those are all gone. But overall, hey, week 1 of group play was really, really great. Super competitive. And so really looking forward to this week. Yeah. Guys, let's jump into our picks because we got to get out of here. But Zena, you want to take the first one?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Tuesday, Denver Nuggets over the Grizzlies.
Even though they just lost the game here without Jokic.
They did, exactly. And that's the key point. They didn't have Jokic. And I promise you, 30 points will help make up that difference.
Okay, fair. That's right. What's your other pick for this week?
I also have Friday, Pacers over the Bucks.
Oh, I have that too.
I just think the Bucks don't have it together. And
you know what? I understand completely because when you look at what they've been doing, they're 4-9 right now.
Yeah.
I just don't trust the Pacers with the emotion on the line. I'm actually going against both of you. And I'm going to say the Bucks are going to beat the Pacers on Friday in the NBA Cup because I think Giannis is going to give us an all-timer if he has to. We saw him do it the other day with the 59 points where he just put him on his back. They almost lost.
Yeah.
But he was +7 in his minutes. And so that's what matters. I think we might get 48 minutes or 53 or whatever it takes from Giannis. But this Pacers team, you remember last year, there's bad blood. There's bad NBA Cup blood between these two teams. I just don't think there's any way.
Counting out the finalists. Wow.
So you've got Pacers Bucks too. What's your other game?
My other game is the historic one that's happening on Tuesday. And that is the Cleveland Cavaliers beating the Boston Celtics in Boston, the rematch of the Eastern Conference semifinals, and a chance at history to become 16-0, only team other than the Golden State Warriors in 2016 to do it. How you like that?
I hate to tell you, wrong again. My second pick. I'm taking the Celtics over the Cavs to hand the Cavs their first loss. The game's in Boston. And look, the Celtics are the champs. Have you guys felt like the Celtics have gotten up for a matchup yet?
They almost did for the Raptors. They did. You know? It was
okay.
But I would say no. I agree with you, Dave. I actually do think that this is going to be the thing that galvanizes them. Like they want to end that record. They want to prove that they're still the champs. They're in their home garden. Like, I absolutely can imagine them being like, guys, this is a must win. Period.
Think about the speech that Joe Mazzulla is going to give in between watches of the town to these guys to get them fired up. Nobody, remember, he was telling us all summer.
Yes,
nobody believes in them. All summer long, he told us, and look now, no one believes in the Celtics.
He's going to make some sort of Animal Kingdom comp. That's what it'll be. You know?
I'm just saying right now, I feel sorry for the Cleveland Cavaliers, but I think your run is over. Our run is over today. That's going to do it for today's show, folks. Thank you guys for listening. For Zena, Keita, and Baraheni, I'm Dave DuFour, and this has been the NBA Daily. Thanks for waking up with us.